Right, here we go. There's the back. Bringing it up, that's not too bad. Okay, let's get that sound going so you can hear me. Alrighty, so what do we need to do? We need to grab this body, and we've got that body. We need to get in there and drill those holes. I've got the drill bit too. I've got black hardware. It's got Mr. Glynn's Cruel Mistress vintage telly pickups, brass saddles, bone nut. It's all good. Where the weed at? What's going on? Thank you for the follow. Good to see you. Welcome on in.
Who?
Okay, so that's that guy there. But that's to show you that copper-looking red cedar when it really gets polished up. It really looks copperish.
Come here, little guy. Come here, my little boy. Hello. 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 How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Hey? Good boy.
To go on top. So that's what we did there. That back's going to be sensational. That is so smooth. Very smooth. Ha! Absolutely. They are drums. They're percussion instruments as well as stringed instruments. They can be used. If you watch the old flamenco guys playing, the old Spanish guys, they're doing all that stuff. They're going tippa-tappa, tippa-tippa-dum, ring, 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 tippa-tappa, tippa-tappa, dum, ding, dong, dang. So it's all good. Right, here we go. There's the back. Bringing it up, that's not too bad. Okay, let's get that sound going so you can hear me. Alrighty, so what do we need to do? We need to grab this body, and we've got that body. We need to get in there and drill those holes. I've got the drill bit too. I've got black hardware. It's got Mr. Glynn's Cruel Mistress vintage telly pickups, brass saddles, bone nut. It's all good. Where the weed at? What's going on? Thank you for the follow. Good to see you. Welcome on in.
Who?
Okay, so that's that guy there. But that's to show you that copper-looking red cedar when it really gets polished up. It really looks copperish.
Come here, little guy. Come here, my little boy. Hello. Hello. How you doing? How you doing? Hey? Good boy.
To go on top. So that's what we did there. That back's going to be sensational. That is so smooth. Very smooth. Ha! Absolutely. They are drums. They're percussion instruments as well as stringed instruments. They can be used. If you watch the old flamenco guys playing, the old Spanish guys, they're doing all that stuff. They're going tippa-tappa, tippa-tippa-dum, ring, 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 tippa-tappa, tippa-tappa, dum, ding, dong, dang. So it's all good. Right, here we go. There's the back. Bringing it up, that's not too bad. Okay, let's get that sound going so you can hear me. Alrighty, so what do we need to do? We need to grab this body, and we've got that body. We need to get in there and drill those holes. I've got the drill bit too. I've got black hardware. It's got Mr. Glynn's Cruel Mistress vintage telly pickups, brass saddles, bone nut. It's all good. Where the weed at? What's going on? Thank you for the follow. Good to see you. Welcome on in.
Who?
Okay, so that's that guy there. But that's to show you that copper-looking red cedar when it really gets polished up. It really looks copperish.
Come here, little guy. Come here, my little boy.
Howdy, folks. How we doing? Welcome back, he says. I am back for a little bit. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Rage, you are indeed first. You've been first now for many months. You were first even when no one else was around in the chat because I wasn't streaming. Ha! Dana's here. Mav is here. Good to see you guys. So we're going to ease back into things. We're working on a Les Paul still, and we're working on an acoustic. I've got a finish on this plate to show you what it looks like. That's the color that we're going for, and that's the finish with the poly on the plate. And we've got the body set up now, just gluing in the last of the binding, just on the end there. But we've got the binding on there now. You can see, there we go. You can see the binding on there. That's maple binding on this mahogany. We've got our burst done. There's our burst. Our colour's ready to go. We just need the clear coats on there now. And obviously we need to get the bridge and the tailpiece in there. And there, that stock's arrived, as has the tuners for the neck. So I've just got that last little curly bit up there glued in and strapped in, just waiting for that to glue in. You can see that binding there. I'll give you a closer look on this camera here. The hiatus was good, man. I just took a break from guitar building and from streaming, particularly streaming. I just didn't want to stream for a while. I wanted to take a break from it. I found it was dragging me down. I just needed a really good break. You can see the burst there is nice. There's a mark here which I couldn't avoid and I couldn't fix. It doesn't matter, the button's going over it. This is going to be a demo anyway. I won't be selling this one, but I will be showcasing it. But the burst is looking really good. That's hand rubbed. You can see the darkness around the edges without it going too overboard. It's a beautiful amber color, and we should get some really, really getting that to pop. Once we get those clear coats on there, that'll really pop like that. That was very, very much similar to that color before we put the other stuff on there. So yeah, that's okay, Terry. You enjoy your social hiatus and a sabbatical. Not quite a sabbatical, Rage. I'm not into sabbaticals. Whatever. It's all good. It was a nice break. Now, here's our neck for you guys. If you remember, here's our Australian rosewood neck. It's almost sanded to finish. We've got to trim this extensive heel off there. Once we fit the neck in, we'll do that. The tenon's ready and the mortise joint is done. The frets are done, the binding's done. We've got our tuners in. We need to mark those out, get the holes in there, and start getting some oil on here and sealing this guy up. So we're going to mark the holes now while this is still drying, before we take these clamps and bands off for this end piece of this binding. You can see that white maple binding just around the edges there. It really sets it off nicely. If I give you a bit of a spray with some water, you'll see the color difference. So if you can see that, let me spray that. And you'll get a feel for what it's going to look like once it's coated. There you go. There's the mahogany and there's the maple contrasting. So that binding really pops nicely when you apply that final finish. Okay, and that color, it's going to be beautiful. I like Les Pauls. I like vintage looking Les Pauls. They're quite good. Okay, let's get on to this thing here. I'll move this aside while it's doing its thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get onto, and I said we're going to do a little bit today, not too much. I just want to get these guys lined up, marked out, and then we can, remove these tuners, get these holes drilled, sand this, give that one more sanding. I might actually give it a coat of oil. It'll show up. There's a lot of scratches here that I need to get out, a few scratches here, but it will show it up with a coat of oil. I'll give that a seal, and then we'll see. But let's line these guys up first, and that way we'll get this end sorted out quickly. I need my little rule. I'm going to line these guys up straight, like so. And once they're straight, I'm going to...
Mom, somebody just followed me.
going to mark those holes out and drill those little pilot holes for the screws. Great. Okay, we've marked those guys out. Let's rip these out and have a good look at those. These are only hand tight. Grab a little box so we don't lose anything. Texan Raid, what is going on? The Space Ager. He's raiding. Thank you very much for the raid. Guys, welcome on in. Come on in. We're working on an LP style. What is going on? My name's Manny. For those of you that haven't seen, welcome in. And I'm back. First stream in a couple of months. So you picked a good time to come back in. How you all doing? My name's Manny. We're working on an LP. I've got this Australian rosewood neck carved and ready to go. I've got the fretboard done. I've got the binding done. The frets are all done. We're fitting the tuners now and just getting these guys lined up, drilling pilot holes and what have you. We're going to give that a coat of oil and seal that up to show up any little imperfections and scratches, do some fine finishing. The body for that guy is this guy here. It's a mahogany body. I've just got the last of the binding on there. Mahogany body. We've got maple binding and a beautiful maple cap that's carved with a vintage amber burst on that guy. And that's going to get polyurethane, wipe-on poly, to give us that sort of colour and finish. I'll show you on the other camera. You'll see it a little bit better. There it is. So that's the kind of finish we're going for, and that watery quilt. And that's the guy there without it. That's just got the colour on it. You can see there's a very fine hand rub burst around the edge there. We've still got to put some, mark out where the bridge and the tail stop are going. I've got the last of the binding on there. Got to clean that up and cut that down to size and sand that all back and get it all looking like that. And then we can continue. Okay, so let's pop this aside. Carry on with our neck work. Thank you for the raid. Welcome on in, guys. It's good to see you here. How was your raid, by the way? That's okay, Storm. Come and you get yourself cleaned up. Not a problem. Willie won't go in the house with a sub. Thank you very much, Willie. And Maui Lynn in with a 22-monther. Hello, 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 aloha. Maui Lynn, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome on in. I hope you're well. I hope earthquakes haven't affected you. You guys have had a rough trot up there in Maui. I hear there's lots of things going on in Hawaii, so prayers for you guys, and hopefully you're settled and you're okay. Take it a day as it comes, like I do, I think. Don't overdo it. Let's get these out, and we'll get these holes done. And then we'll give it a coat of oil and see what that guy looks like. There'll be some cleaning up to do, obviously. Come on, get out. Gotcha. I do want to cut out and make a truss rod cover as well. Come on, you. This one's a little bit on the tight side, even though I hand tightened it. I overhand tightened it. Don't know my own strength sometimes. 25 bits from Mav. Thank you, Mav. Haven't felt a thing. Hopefully it won't blow. Okay, Maui. Lynn, you and I both hoping volcanic stuff stays down in the ground. this guy out. Now this rosewood looks pretty light, but once I hit it with some oil, you'll see how beautiful and ochre rich red it does pop a little bit. So it's one of my favorite woods, Australian rosewood. It's a pretty wood. Before we do that though, obviously I'm going to just shape up in actual fact, what we'll do is we'll coat it first. It'll dry pretty quickly. It'll drink most of it up. It's designed to basically seal the pores and give us a bit of a visual on the scratch marks and finer sanding areas that we need to address. And then I'll give it another 2 or 3 coats and she'll be ready to go. It'll be a satin finish, a nice flat sort of finish. Smooth as glass is important. We want it to feel good. And the frets are done. That's all ready to go. Hit those with a little bit of sandpaper and get them nice and a couple little sharp edges there. We will smooth those over. Seabliz with a big resub. What's going on? Hype train's on. I didn't even realise. Well done, guys and girls. Got the first one going for the return of the stream. Now, let's have a look at this guy. Okay, we've got the holes marked out here. I'm going to drill those guys. Did I miss a couple here? No, there they are. Good. Let's mark those out. Get them a little bit dark. There we go. Get a nice visual on those. Okay, they're lined up. We're going to just drill those pilots in there and then we'll give this a coat and see what it looks like. Okie dokie. Drill bits, where are you? I'm going to use my little baby guys, wherever they are. Up here, hanging up somewhere. Here they are. Okay. And I'm just going to grab the screws from these tuners. Where are they? Screws out. These are the ones I'm going to use. Put these old tuners away. Yeah. I'll just give these a little measure. A 1 3/4 or 2 millimeter screw. I just want to make sure I've got the right drill and I don't over drill those holes. I'll get the calipers on there. Measure that guy up. Yeah, 2.4. Bit thicker than I thought. 2.4. Okay, that's good. We'll get the 5/64, which will be a nice tight fit, but it will cut in. Let's grab the drill. We'll just drill those in there. Pilot hole those. Get the pilots in there. Ever so small. That's all we need. making sure not to go through. Going down about 1/4 inch. And we're done. We are done, as they say. Pop that screw in there, let's not lose those guys. Clean as a whistle on that side. Put these guys on this side. I'm going to give this a coat now because I want to look at how it looks. And I want to give it a nice seal. And then we're going to give it some fine sanding and give it 2 or 3 more coats, obviously, in the next few days. Let's put this up here. Let's get our oil out and give this a little coat. And watch that colour pop and see what that looks like. We're chipping away, going good. Hey Leslie, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you very much for the gifted sub, Lynn. Let me get this hype train. Orby's in the house, resub. Thank you, Orby. Welcome on in, Greg. Good to see you. Mav with another 5 bits. Dana with 1,000 bits. My God, Willie won't go with 200 coins she found in the back of the lounge that belonged to Van Walen. And then she found another 800 bits. Thank you very much. Lynn with a gifted sub, of course, as we said. Terry with a big 1,000. Thank you very much. And of course, Seabliz with the resub. Guys are kicking along, doing the thing. What's going on, guys and girls? Tell me. Did we see it? All the newcomers. I've just got the binding finished. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, we've got our maple. If I spray this with some water, you'll see the color difference. Okay, mahogany and maple is a nice look. And we've got our color on there and our hand rub burst. We just need to get those top coats going, drill those holes for the bridge and tail stop. We've got the last of the binding just being clamped in there. We can fit that in. Once that binding's done, we can slit that neck in, and then with the neck in, we can measure out the scale length and get those guys sorted out. What's going on? Greggle's in the house. Are you well, my friend? It's good to see you. I did take a good break, guys and girls. I just wanted to get away from streaming for a while and just chill out. I did have the flu for a couple of weeks. We got over that. We all sort of, I went away for a couple of weeks over Christmas and visited some family interstate. And came back and got the flu, and I was laid up for a few days. But it's all right. I needed a good break. Mav, don't be jealous of anything. Jealousy is a curse. You don't want to be jealous of anything. That's a long time, a couple of weeks. It was about 5 or 6 days, Willie. It just dragged on. It was all up here. It was mainly just a little bit of a cough and a little bit of a runny nose. It was flu-y sort of symptoms. It wasn't a big deal. I mean, it's just the flu. And I was okay. I had a bit of a fever, but that was all right. There was no major dramas. But unfortunately, the whole family got it. So, we had people in the house that were just all sort of moaning and groaning and lying around. But we got over it in 3 or 4 days, so it was good. About 2 weeks, the symptoms sort of rolled on a little bit. The runny nose didn't stop for a while, but it wasn't too bad. It was a couple of days of really uncomfortable temperatures, and after that we were good. Okay, I'm going to get some oil out. We're going to do this. Chipping along. Big Bumstead! Marky Mark's in the house. How you doing, brother? Resubbing. Thank you very much for that. Hype train level 3. Excellent work. We're still chipping along. Oh my goodness, another gifted sub from Lynn to Leslie. Congratulations, Leslie. There you go. Get some oil out. Let's see what we got here. Give that a little stir. And we're going to give this a cut and work on a little cover there. We've got the sanding to do at the back here, but I do want to give it a coat and seal that up and show up all the scratch marks, because you can't really see them with this grain. It will accentuate the grain though, so you will see how beautiful this rosewood is. It's one of, I know it's one of Orby's favourites, Australian rosewood. It is a pretty wood, and the colour will just pop once we put the oil on there. So let me show you that, guys. Let me stir this guy up first. Get a little bit of that happening. that a little wipe. Okay, we've got our little rag there. Let me grab a glove just so I can hold that thing. Might put a couple of pairs on. Here he is, the man of the moment, Marky Mark. How you been, Mr. Mark? Are you well? How's the violin going? Have you strung up that fiddle yet? 300 bits from Dana. Thank you, Dana. Appreciate that. You are the best. You knew that, though. Hype train completed. Level 4. What a great effort. Thank you, ladies and gents. That was awesome. Let's get the colour on here. Okay, so let's have a look at this guy here. I'll move this over this way. You'll see that colour pop. Watching that Australian rosewood there. Before we do that, let me just clean this guy up a little bit. It's a little bit, how you doing? Just got some fibre in there I want to get rid of. And we can smooth that out later. But we've got loose stuff off there. Let's get some oil on there. Here we go. Right. Dab, dab, dab. Dab, 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 dab. Get that guy sealed up. Aussie rosewood, that's what it looks like. And that's going to be stunning along that guy there with the colour. The beauty of that amber, that reddish amber, is it's going to look really, really good with the finish on the body. Okay, it's going to sort of contrast a little bit, but also match a little bit. So it's going to be a lovely finish once we get a couple of coats on there. I just want to get that drinking out up. It's showing up a couple of little marks and scratches and things. So we'll keep working on that until we see them all and then, you know, sand them all out, get a really nice finish. Give that a little seal. It's got the wood binding on there, which is a nice contrast. Matches the binding on the body. Just get a bit more. Rub that in there. Get that colour popping. You can see the contrast there between the dry and the. It does take it in well and does pop. The volute looks nice. A couple of little scratches. Got to sort them out. But that's the beauty of oiling this up. You can see those scratches. Let's get that neck done. Finish that headstock. There we go. It's looking good. Couple of scratches on the heel here, of course, as expected. Lots of carving was done down here. Fine stuff. We're going to fix that up. A lot of that's going to be lost. We're going to lose some of that heel. It's way too long. But that's the colour. It's nice. It's popping nicely. Let that just dry up and eat that up. And while that's drying, what we're going to do is we're going to start working on getting a piece of wood and trying to match up or giving it a nice little feature, contrasting feature cover for that truss rod channel there. Let's do that. Mav, recovery slow and steady. Well, keep going, my friend. Sometimes you got to do the work. You know, it's going to take a little while, but I'm sure you're going to get it. That's Danish Oil, Ghetto. That's right. How are you, my friend? Welcome on in. Danish Oil. Yeah, I use Danish to pretty much seal those up. Any satin or flat finish I want. I like the Danish Oil. It's a great finish. And it does show up everything the way I need it. There's lots of little scratches and things I've got to work on that, but that can be dry. That can be worked on after it's dry. What I want to do now is get a little piece of wood here, see what samples I've got. I want to try and find, I might use a piece of maple and match, contrast the cap. You know, I might get a piece of maple, paint it, do it the same color as that, because that's a nice contrast, and it'll match the body. The body for this guy, in case you haven't seen it, is this guy here. There it is there. Okay, so we've got the burst done on that guy. We've got some clamps on there, just the last of the binding. So there's the amber burst on that guy. The last of the binding is just clamped up. That'll come off very shortly, probably by the end of this stream. I'll get that off and we'll trim that up. But I want to get a piece of maple now and see if we can fix a little truss rod cover. Let me go grab a piece from the shed. In storage, a little bit of offcut, which I should have, lots of offcuts. Okay, I'll put this oil away. And we'll get stuck into it. Gatto, what's going on, my friend? Are you well? Single cut's looking good, you like it? Excellent. I like it too, it's looking fantastic. Be back in a sec, I'll just grab some maple and see what we can come up with. I might grab a couple of other pieces as well, see what we've got. I need lights. Turn on the lights to the storeroom. Okay, found a beautiful, beautiful piece. Something that you may all appreciate. I found a little piece of maple. It's got a little bit of flame in it, just a little bit. That's going to make a nice contrasting piece there. So let's measure this out. Let's get a nice big bell-shaped baby guy. That's a beautiful piece of maple there. See that flame? There's a lot of flame there. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Okay. Let's take some measurements. We'll go about 1 inch on the base. Might go a bit wider. Let's go 1 inch. Let's go 1 1/4 inches. That's a lot. We'll keep it to 1 inch, maybe 1 1/8 inches. Let me just work that out. Yeah, 25 mils an inch, maybe 30 mil. I'll go 30 mil. 30's, oh gee, that's wide. I think we'll need it though. I'm going to start off wide and I'm going to come in here and then go up and around like that. Make a really, really interesting shaped cover. I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do. I might go 15. That's it. We'll start with 30. We can always trim it down. Okay, let's do that. Lengthwise, we need at least, it's quite a long groove. We're going to go to 70 mil. 70 mil, okay. So it's basically 1 inch and a bit, 1 1/4 inches by about 2.5 inches. So 1 1/4 inches, let's go, we've got 70 mil there. Yeah, we've got 70 mil, that's good. Let's measure that. Pencil. Let's go 75, a little bit extra. Doesn't bother us. And We'll get that ruled across there. So I know what I'm playing with. That's pretty good width there. That's 34. We'll go 17 is halfway. If I get 34 down here. Halfway. It's very rough. Let me get something sharper. This grain is excruciatingly flamed and rough. Rough! There we go. Let's cut that piece out and then we'll shape it, what I'm planning to do. I'll use the curves and I'll make a little bell shaped. It'll come out like that. It'll come in. It'll be spearheaded. Okay. We're going to have a screw at the top and two at the bottom. Let me grab those curves and see what we can do with. So I'll grab my little French curve here and see what I can do in terms of getting some shape going on here. That oil's dried up already. It's dried up nicely. That colour's beautiful. Let's have a look here. Okay, that's good. Measure that down. It's 30 mil, perfect. Match the curve on the other side, so we've got a mirror. Like so. Angle that like so. It's a bit of a spearhead, this one. Nice. That's going to be the shape of our cover. I'm going to cut all that out on the bandsaw. We'll come back and we'll shape that. We've got to also thin that out. I might cut it with a saw down the middle. So let's go cut this main shape out with the bandsaw. First things first though, I might just cut this down the middle in half. So let's pop this up here in the vise. Clamp that up here. And we'll just slice that guy down the middle. Get that thinned out a little bit. Save the rest of the wood. I like this side here. Yeah, I might just cut out the block first. Yeah, I might just cut the block out first. I might have to draw it on the other side. Yeah, I'm going to keep, this is the better side, so I'm going to move this to the other side. So let's transfer that. Let's transfer that. 34. That's right. Okay.
Okay. Double check these measurements. 17 and a half, 34, good. 17 and a half, 34, good. 30 down. 30 down. Okay, there it is there. That's the arrowhead that we want. That's going to be our cover. I'm going to go cut that on the bandsaw now and bring it back, and we'll shape that. Then we can slice it down there. In actual fact, I probably will slice it first. Let me cut this excess off and then I'll slice it. Let me just cut this excess off. Okay, we've got a roughed out shape. I'm now going to cut and shape the rest of this to shape and size. I'm going to do that on the belt sander down there. I'll just turn you to there. You might just see it in that corner there. What I'll do is I'll move this and I'll pop that guy up on the bench so you can see it a little bit easier. And I'll move that camera up a bit closer if I can. Come on. Forgive the vertigo. You don't know you're alive until you've felt the day's quota of vertigo. Come on, get up there. Okay, let me just get this camera going. Let me just switch over to the main screen and spare you all. Spare you all. I'll move this down. Okay. Let's plonk this guy here. And have a little look-see. Might just clamp that up.
should be a little bit better.
Come on, bench cam, where are you? Da-da-da. There it is, look at that. You can see exactly what we're doing there. Right, we're going to use this and shape this guy. Let's catch up with the chat. Mr. Bebop, what's going on? Great to see you. Welcome on in. Van Whalen, what is going on? Van Whalen, do you know that your missus has been stealing your change out of the back of the couch again? Out of control. Let's check the fit. Let's check the fit, guys and girls. Move this body out of the way. Van Whalen, there's that body. So we've got some clamps on there for the last of the binding. There's the colour. There's our burst. And we'll get that poly on there and it should end up like that once we get that guy polyed up. Okay. Somewhere safe. Somewhere safe. There we go. Okay. Now this is the shape of this guy. Let's move this camera back. Okay. Let's plug that in. Okay, there it is. That's the shape of that guy. So that's going to fit on here. Like so. Okay. Obviously that's really thick. We need to get that right down. So I'm gonna shape that and plane that and do all sorts of things. And get it down to about 2 millimeters or so. And then that will fit just in there. The nut will go in there and that will cover up that truss rod. Everyone is well, man. Cut up those trees. Absolutely. $3,200. You're waiting for 4,000, Willie. That's the one you need. Mr. Bebop, good to see you as well. Thank you for the gifted sub, Dana. That's awesome of you to help out Van Whalen, especially since his missus has been taking all his loose change. Okay, so that guy goes in there. Now we need to get this guy all sanded smooth. So let me hit that on the sander for a couple of minutes and I'll be right back. So I'm going to put my mask on. Going to kick up some dust. And while I do that, I'm going to get you guys to have a good look at our friend Buddy Boy in action. Back in a second. Okay, we're done. We've shaped that guy. I'll show you what it looks like. So it looks like a little spearhead, but we've got a nice little bevel on that now. So it's down to about 1/8 of an inch. And that's it there. We've got a little bevel. Looks like a little arrowhead, little spearhead. That's going to sit on there like that. And that bevel makes it sort of flatten out a little bit on the edges there. It's nice. It's quite prominent without being too chunky. It's a nice fit. Let me get some color on there now. I'm going to give that a hit with some 240. Get some color on there to stain it to look like that. Okay. So I'm just going to take the rough edges off there. Any scratches off there. Way nice. You like it? Good stuff. I'm glad that you like it. Let's get some color on there and see what that looks like, okay? I'll grab a little board and rest it on there. There we go. Let's grab our stain, our little ambery antique tiki amber, which is that color there. I need some gloves because it makes a mess. It's messy stuff, let me tell you. Extremely messy stuff. We'll get the colour on there, then we'll drill some holes and we'll bevel those little holes out. Actually, I should drill the holes first so that we can get the... I'll drill the holes first. You must mark the centre of that. Pop one there. In actual fact, we probably only need one more, but it can't be in the middle. I'm going to leave it at one hole just there because this is going to be resting up against the nut, so it ain't going to swing. It's a nice flat edge. One hole's all we need. And it's up above. I think that's above. Let me just check and make sure that's past the cavity. It is. Okay, that's good. It is past the cavity. I'm going to quickly just countersink that hole and then we'll colour it. Perfect. That looks pretty good. Okay, now we can colour that guy. I'll just pop this drill away. Little baby guy, we don't want to lose that. Willie will have kittens if we lose the little baby guys. They're important, those little guys. Pop them away. Glasses on, let's get colour going. So I'll get my gloves on. Safety first, absolutely mad. Little baby guys. That's them. Look at that head. My God. Dana's been busy with emotes and images already. She's probably withdrawal symptoms. Huh. Let's get this guy stained. Grab a little rag, a little soft cloth. Cut a little bit of a t-shirt. Let's get some colour on this guy. Beautiful. Gorgeous. I love the flame in this. That's so prominent. Look at that. Beautiful. And the bevel really sets it off nicely as well. Those edges. I will go to the back as well. Hit those edges because you do see a little bit of white maple there. So we want to make sure that that's well and truly coloured. Let's hit the back as well. Just to cover any white edges. There we go. And if we pop that guy here, keeping in mind that that's going to absolutely get a little bit darker, so you've sort of got the right shade. We just need to get that popping with a bit of a clear on there. And that guy on here is going to look like that, and it matches the body beautifully. Isn't that pretty? Huh. It could be an automatic AI. It's scary. Yes, it could be AI. Who knows what Streamlabs or Stream Elements have done. They could turn into the Terminator, and then Van Walen will have to pull out the old 303 and start taking pot shots at it. Ha! Okay, so we've got that guy sorted. I need a little bit of clear on there to get it finished. We may as well do that. I don't want to do that yet. What I want to do is I want to now put this neck aside. I won't do any sanding on stream. It's quite boring. What I will do though is I will let that dry a little bit more. It's pretty dry now. Let that guy take the color. Maybe hit it with a little bit more. I won't need to hit it with anything more. That's quite good. That's quite, because the quilt is so heavy, it's just really dark. It already looks like it's had black put through it. So we don't need to do that. Handmade. We love handmade. Pretty. Yeah, I know. It's not a good, it's not a thing for me. So what I want to do now is I want to try and see if this glue is dry. Hopefully it's dry, and I need to get this, sort out this binding. Let's take it off and see what we look like. Hopefully it has stuck. Yeah, it's stuck. It's good. It's done. So we'll take those off, trim this all up, and scrape that flush because there's a little bit of excessive thickness in that binding. We want to scrape it flush. That's all glued down now, which is great. We need to trim these guys up. I'll do that with my little saw. Where is the saw? Here it is. Nice and gently. Flush. Like so. So there's our binding done. Now we need to sand that all out and get that flush. So put my sand, my mask back on. I need some sanding discs. Too much. .120 grit should do the job. And the objective here is just to get that flush. And we've got that all neatened up. Okay, that's a little bit worn there, but that's okay because the neck's going over that. Let's have a look at that. Beautiful. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's have a look at that. Clamped up. I can do a coat of oil on the back of that. I want to sand that now and just give that back a nice seal and see what other scratches and marks are there. Let's do that while we've got the gloves on. Gonna give that a light sand, so I did take off my mask prematurely. Mask off. Hang that mask up. We're done with that now. What I want to do is give that a wipe down and get some oil on there and see what this mahogany looks like on the back. See what that guy ends up like. I want to see that ribbon pop as well. We're back. Bzzz. I think the sound's fine now. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. It does go off every now and then. You know the ghosts in the machine, Terry. You know the ghosts in the machine. I like that. I really like that little arrowhead. Okay. Let's grab our oils. Get a coat on there, eh? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Let's get that sealed up. Have a look at that back. See what that looks like. Okay, we're set to go. Come on. There we go. All right. Were you describing the woods in the guitar when we couldn't hear? No. All I was saying was I was showing you the way it all fits together and showing the angle of the 4-degree drop, and said I just needed to sand now what I finished in here, get all those marks out, and you can see the binding there. It's nice and square. Just got to get any scratches out of there. I'm just going to cover this with one coat and get that sealed up, and we can see the marks on the back of this guy as well and see where it needs to be tidied up. Let's get a nice thick coat on there. Pop that mahogany. Oh yeah, you can see that maple now popping on the edges there too. Look at that maple pop. It's very thin on the edges. I had to make these bindings by hand It was a 1/4 inch thick to start with, and I got them down to like 2 millimeters, then glued them in, bent them, steam bent them, and then I scraped them down. There is a scratch there, you can see. We're going to get that out. I'm going to do the edges as well, guys, and show you how that maple looks. There are a couple little scratches in the middle there. We'll get them out. We'll sand those out. There's the back of that. Tilt that on its side. Let's do one of the sides and see what we look like here. We'll start at the back. End grain does get a lot darker. You can see that. It's so dark, but it will lighten up when it dries. That maple's looking really good. Maple's looking really good. Beautiful, beautiful grain. There's something to be said about maple binding. It's a stunning binding. I love that. Really sets it off nicely. Don't you think? A little bit messy in here. I've got to clean all this up. There's a little bit of filler and a little bit of glue and some stuff in here that's got to get out of there, but I'll give it a coat anyway because that'll highlight all the mess in there. I will sand this all out. I've got to glue that neck in there. That binding's looking really good. Just there you can see that flame popping. There we go, got a coat on that. Okay. In the bin. Let's have a look at that guy. Okay, there's the front. You can now see the bind. Now it's starting to look like an old LP, does it not? That mahogany's really looking good. Pop nicely. The binding's looking really good. Look at that binding. It's all in there. You can see that work we did there, close that binding off. It's really looking good. I'm happy with that. Really happy with that. Okay. Now all that's left is for me to clean up with some sanding, and then we can start putting some top coats on there. I do want to actually get the neck in there in the next day or two, get that set, and then we can work out the bridge holes before we put the top coats on. But we're getting there. We're probably 3/4 of the way through and nearly finished. Dark sides, Van Walen. It does look good. It pops it, doesn't it? That end grain's really taken up that nice. And look at that. Look at the combination there. That chocolatey, rich red mahogany, and then you've got that beautiful stained maple, and that burst. And that's when we get some clear on that, that's going to look like a classic Leslie, right? It's a great color combo. I love the old vintage colors, the ambers and the browns and the reds and the tobaccos and those bursts and the sunsets. You know, the tequila sunrises, whatever they call them.
There we go. Okay. I'll just put this away. And my friends, I'm going to be back tomorrow. So that's all I've got for you today. I wanted to take it easy and just do a nice hour stream, hour and a bit. We've got a fair bit done. I do like this guy. I do like that. That's looking pretty good. I love that little arrowhead. That's going to be our truss rod cover. Our neck's looking great. Here he is here. There's that neck. That little guy's going up there. Okay, so he's going to look really good. And we're getting there, as they say. We're getting there. Not quite, but almost. Thank you once again, guys and girls. I'm going to leave it there. Appreciate you all coming back. Thank you for being that. Willie loves it. Tequila Sunrise. I like that. Of course you do. Yes, Lynn, it is lovely, and thank you very much for saying so. It works well. The colour does work well. I'll be back again tomorrow, guys and girls, so we're going to continue tomorrow. Let that just sit now and let it settle. I might do some sanding this afternoon, get it prepped, and we'll probably get some more work done tomorrow. That neck needs another coat. Hopefully we'll get all the major sanding. Then I want to get that finished off, finished sanded, and really coated, and get that neck ready to... I want to finish the coating on the neck before we put it into and set it in the body. I don't want to be mucking around with oil and polyurethane touching each other and mixing in the wet stages. So I want to get that neck coated, and maybe 3 or 4 days' time we'll glue it in. Yes. Love seeing the timber undercoats. It's very good. I do like it as well. We'll see you tomorrow as well. Okay, guys and girls, this is Manny from The Guitar Show. I'm going to head off now. Enjoy the rest of my Sunday. You enjoy your weekend as well. I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Sydney, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Check it out. Set your alarms. We'll see you then. But until next time, I will be back tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Good to see you again. Catch you then.